Blessings, everyone. It's time for the incoming wave for this coming 7 days, as in an examination of the new dynamic or new normal that's actually going to be settling into everybody's experience. Remember, these are not just general predictions for 1 week at a time, here today, gone the next, and they are actually going to be affecting everyone, no matter what level of experience, skill, or consciousness they are at in this present time. And so experiences with these may vary at first, but this is what is integrating into the new normal, just like all of these incoming waves that I have been talking about these last few months. So once again, I, of course, encourage everybody to look at the preceding incoming waves as well, to kind of get caught up on what has been going on, what is actually going on a multi-dimensional level as we continue to shift through these ever-intensifying 2020 energies. So this week we actually have the Emperor, the Magician, and the Hermit as our personifiers, as our articulators of this energy. And what's going on this week is actually incredibly empowering. I mean, it's all been very, very empowering, but this week we actually see a clearing of distraction. We see a clearing of mysteries. And with the Emperor card, one of the things I'm getting here is a sense of control, as well as awareness of one's own higher self. And when I say control of the higher self, I mean control of the channel, control of the connection to one's higher self. When we talk about the higher self, this is the higher multidimensional level of one's consciousness. And this is not something that is separate from anybody. This is already a connection we have been operating with the entire time, whether or not an individual had maybe opened that channel or worked on that connection, that communion, or the communication of such. It does not matter. There has never been a separation in this regard. With the Emperor and the Magician, we are actually seeing a deeper merge, a deeper connection of the higher self coming in to participate in form, as in sharing our form, our lower self and our higher self continuously merging throughout this shift in consciousness, are taking a big step towards and into one another starting this week. More of the higher self present in the body, in the form, as part of the experience. And with the Magician card and the Emperor working in such tight harmony, there will also be additional clarity of direction, clarity of role, clarity of self that goes beyond the mundane physical world experience. When we talk about the higher self and the lower self going through a merge, occupying the same space and time, working in conjunction, we are also seeing a further dispensation of, yes, abilities, available energy, but also at the same time an understanding or a greater clarity of how one is actually serving themselves, the collective, their Oversoul group. What exactly is their work in this now? And the reason I say this work is because there is no such thing as a fixed, undying, ever-permanent purpose. No matter how far you go in your spiritual path and practice, it will change, it will evolve. And maybe this is also a wonderful way that we can kind of get rid of that old paradigm misunderstanding of how purpose works. In fact, with the Magician, we are also seeing awareness of path, awareness of one's capability to move. In fact, I'm actually seeing a great deal of epiphanies and shifts going on. Lots of people changing how they want to serve, how they want to work, how they want to perform, what life they are in, what life they are going to be living in, But it's important to remember, with the merge of the higher self and the lower self, we are also dealing with something very creative. We are dealing with something that is about creating the new, not necessarily shopping for it or trying to attract it into our life. And what we have here with the Hermit is also a clearing of misunderstanding, a clearing of mysteries, whether it's the clearing and dissolvement of a false self, a representative self, on the personal and on the external. With the Hermit, there is the release or the dissolvement of many constructs going on during this period. But when we talk about constructs, we're also looking at programs that are running in one's spiritual psychology, or maybe patterns of energy flows. We talk about patterns of energy thought forms, all kinds of things starting to kind of shift and move and turn about in a way that is helping to get crystal clear understanding of what it is one is capable of doing. Maybe it has to do with their spiritual abilities, yes, or maybe it has to do with a sense of spiritual direction and clarity of where to go going forward now, where there needs to be a deep release. With the Hermit, we are often talking about a release. Imagine now being able to identify where all of the energies, or all of the frequencies, or all of the vibrations in our life are coming from, what they're doing, and being able to look at how every single vibration and how every single thought form and energy form stacks to create the reality experience that we have. This is the level of clarity that is now available. Once again, this is something that is landing this week. This may not necessarily be available to every other person on the planet right now. There are billions of realities running on this planet, and there are, of course, some people who are at a certain place in their journey and a certain place in their journey for other people, right? And there are some folks that are further on the path, and those who are maybe just waking up at base level this week. This is going to be available for everybody, and there may even be some strong push from all higher selves during this period, especially those that are operating in Oversoul groups and those that are actually playing a role in working on advancing the awakening and evolution of the global consciousness, to start clearing and dissolving even anchored, or I guess you could say grounded narratives, grounded stories that are playing out on maybe certain scales that might even be considered a form of awakening, but it is now time to start wrapping those things up. This is a week where a lot of you may also find that there are new roads opening up, a lot of people possibly choosing to take on different roles with their life in terms of their careers, how they want to serve, their spiritual path, their spiritual practice. Everyone's going to have an opportunity for a deep and profound individual acceleration during this time. With the Hermit and the Magician and the Emperor, I do urge everybody to take the time to drop any kind of dogmas, attachment to any sort of collective or religious programming, and really pay attention to what is being offered from a higher version of yourself. As I say to many people when I'm doing the Pathwatcher Soul Strategy sessions, or even readings, your higher self is you. There is never anything to be afraid of with the higher self. You would never hurt your own body. Your higher self would never hurt you. This is a time where you have an opportunity to not only merge and download all of this new, fresh, intense information, but you get to learn things you never knew you didn't know. You get a chance to actually see how large and vast and, of course, fluid the multidimensional self and multidimensional perspective really is. Imagine everyone suddenly waking up to see everything from a multidimensional perspective, a multi-layered perspective, getting the intuitive, psychic, and spiritual insights on how to actually not only clarify life circumstances, but also to create life circumstances, seeing exactly what all of those energies are, where they come from, and what constituents create what. This is a week where so many locks are being opened for everybody. Take the time to integrate, enjoy it, and play with it. Spend less time focusing on waiting for the external to do things to and for you, and start creating something for yourself, because this is also a very powerful amplification of the individual path. It's not to say that we're supposed to all abandon each other, no, but when it comes to taking control of one's individual life stream, free of attachments, free of interference, this is the week to start. It's going to amplify more and more and more, but it is easier to integrate these things as you work with them as they come, as opposed to maybe try and get them when they're on full blast a week or two later. When we talk about the amplification of the awareness of the individual path, we are talking about getting an opportunity to completely seize control of your individual life stream and call back all energies, timelines, as well as creations that you have maybe given away, shared, or gotten entangled with. It's an opportunity for true freedom here, but it does require this kind of work, and this is a mastery level dynamic. This is a mastery level wave. And so make sure that you're also exercising patience with people who might not necessarily be used to mastery level waves and mastery level intelligence and mastery level energy forms going to work, because this is what this week is going to be all about. Be prepared. You are going to be feeling so empowered by all of this to start creating the new. Get started on it. Learn more about, yes, a greater depth of the multidimensional self of who you are, and put all of that knowledge to work as it comes. Meditate, connect, call in, and welcome forth that higher self right now. So that is what I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.